why in the hell would I buy a house right now? Interest rates are high. Prices seem to be at their peak. Although they're not changing a ton, I just feel like a big crash is coming. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to discuss what that actually means and why, call me crazy, but you may have the perfect opportunity to get into a house right now. And it's not just because I'm a real estate agent. What's up, guys? I am Jeremy Kane with eXp Realty, living in the Denver suburbs. This one's great because this is a conversation I've had a ton. We have a ton of people out in the market. I'm going to break down some market statistics and some reasons why now just may be the opportunity that you have to absolutely get in this market and do exactly what you need to do to accelerate your wealth building when it comes to real estate, no matter what market you're in. So while you're here, like, comment, subscribe. This is my passion. This is my job. I love helping people take a look at statistics, take a look at markets, and ultimately make good decisions when it comes to buying and selling real estate. And that is what we're going to talk about. I would love to see you on all of the platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of the things. So let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about the market. We're going to go into some statistics and we're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like right now as we move into, seemingly the highest interest rate, position, or one of the higher interest rate benchmarks that we've seen. It has come down a little bit, but also the inventory, right? Inventory in the Denver metro area is up. 9150 active listings as of June 3rd, which is a huge number, right? You'd have to go all the way back to May of 2012 to find an inventory number that high. And so that's what we've been waiting for, right? The time's here, inventory's up, and all this information is here. Inventory's up, we're buyers, we're gonna get into it. Oh no, here we are. Here's what we're doing. We're sitting here. We have one of the higher interest rate markets we've seen, and now what? And I'm going to tell you right now, here in Denver, we're sitting back, we're talking about this, and it still feels competitive. It still feels like sellers are pulling back. So let's kind of dive into the options, right? Option one, sit on the sideline, wait for it. Mortgage applications are very far down compared to what they have been. I think the only time they've been this low is the last two times that the interest rate has creeped above 7. And so that is something that we need to really focus on. Mortgage applications down, inventory up. So it's gotta crash, right? Well, for context, the last time it crashed, the biggest real estate crash in history, there was 30,000 homes on the market. So we are a long way from over influx of inventory in this being a complete buyer's market. However, since we are looking at this, and this is the highest number of inventory in the month of May since 2012, we need to really step back and think about what this looks like. So we're gonna wait, we're gonna sit on the sidelines, and we're gonna wait it out. Okay, that's great. But higher inventory, less competition means more opportunity. One thing, that you need to understand is the interest rates and the numbers that you see out there are higher, but when there's less competition, you may have the opportunity to get seller concessions to get those rates bought down a little bit lower. Sellers are providing concessions to buy down rates, all of the things, because they understand affordability, and that's what's going on. Less competition, more concession opportunities. More competition, less concession opportunities. So that's the first thing that we kind of need to really dive into and understand. And so, yeah, we can sit back and we can wait and we can play the cards and see where we're at, and we can get into it. However, what happens when the rates drop, those mortgage applications skyrocket, all the demand comes, then what, right? But don't forget that you are paying rent. Right? This is the part of the story that is often left out that's a little bit more difficult to understand. So that's the wait and see crowd. Certainly, okay, I get it. Wait and see what's going on, but really do some math and numbers in your head. The biggest crash in history, 30,000 active listings, all kinds of permanent interest rates, right? There's a lot of adjustable rates at that time. And so when those things came and the subprime loans and all the things, people were buying with 0% down, not qualified. When those things came to fruition and those payments went up, or people, realized that they couldn't afford what they purchased, and then the market went bad, so the appreciation wasn't there as well, they have to put their house in the market, and eventually leads to foreclosures and so on, right? That is not where we're at right now. After that, ARM almost seemed like a bad word, not this ARM, adjustable rate mortgage, right? We are seeing a little bit more of them as we come about now, but they're longer term and so on. And so, 7 years from now, these ARMs that people are getting into, if they aren't smart about it, could be a problem. But that's not the situation. We have a ton of people locked in at 2, 3, 4, 5%. And those people, if they lose their home, they can't rent for cheaper than their mortgage is currently. And people need homes. So people are going to act a little bit differently in that situation, because it's not the mortgage, it's not the payment that's, really the change. Certainly, we may lose a little bit of value, but that's monopoly money, as I say on this channel all the time. The other option, right? And this is the option, and this has nothing to do with me being a real estate agent, is to get into the market. You have a little bit of wiggle room on some properties. It is very competitive on others. I will say that it's very property by property. But if you get into a property and there's 1 or 2 or 3 offers versus 10 or 12, we have opportunities right now, right? And so you get in, you maybe get in under list, maybe you get some concessions, that interest rate gets there. I've said this over and over and over again. The only thing that matters right now when you're looking at buying a house is that you can afford the current mortgage payment that is disclosed to you by your lender in the process, no matter what happens, right? Obviously, losing a job, those things, but and that could happen, right? So be prepared. Don't spend all your savings, but we have to make that payment. We have to be dedicated to that. It's not date the rate, marry the home. It's make sure you can pay your mortgage based on, emergency circumstances and all of that. If we get to that point, getting in right now, you're going to have a little flexibility, right? Well, people say, well, the prices were up 0.2% in April, and the numbers from May from the DMAR 11 county area show that we were down 0.5%, 0.75%. So prices are staying relatively flat, but what most people would say is that's probably the peak in our market, knowing how the seasonality works. So now you're saying, okay, I'm buying right on the other side of the peak. It typically, slowly transitions down. We have a little bit something in the fall, and then it kind of flattens out. We're talking 2, 3%, depending on what's going on. Honestly, it could just be, homes, what's in them, their finishes, all the things. No home is exactly the same. And so this variable is a little bit different, right? So as we go, maybe prices come down 2 or 3% for the rest of this year. We still finish the year out on a positive note. Well, that's fine, because it doesn't matter if you lose 1 or 2% in the perceived value of your home, because you can pay that payment. And so then what happens, right? When the interest rates come down, we've been talking about it for a long time. This is not promised, but if you're comfortable in your payment, you're paying it along the journey, then those rates drop. What happens? You have the opportunity to refinance, maybe not right away, because you do need to gain some equity. If you have a low down payment, it's best to wait till you have an 80-20 loan to value. So you have 20% equity in your home, because that's just better. There's better loan options there, less mortgage insurance, all the things. But maybe not, right? You still have the opportunity to refinance once your house appreciates a little bit. But let's say for fun, it drops 2% over the next 6 months. And then come next January, rates start to tick down, and they cross over to where that you're at, right? They're now dipping below where you're at with that buy down and all of that, and they continue to go down. Well, every time those rates tick down, mortgage applications demand comes up. That 2 to 3% loss in value, perceived loss, will immediately be eliminated once people flood to the market, people start buying homes in your neighborhood. Certainly we'll have a little bit of inventory to eat up, But once that inventory is low again, which it will be because there's a lot more people waiting on the sidelines than our homes even still in our current market. And so once that happens, the homes sell, the prices go up. Now they continue to go up. There's continued competition. We're back in that traditional 5 to 6% appreciation. And as we move forward here, there's opportunity for you to refinance. So not only have you recovered from the 2 or 3% loss, but your appreciation has gone up. So you've gained some appreciation on your house. And then all of a sudden the rates fall out and you have the opportunity to refinance. Your payment goes down, your appreciation goes up, and you're in a good spot. But Jeremy, what if that doesn't happen? As long as you hold on to your house, as long as you're secure in that payment, you are more than okay. So there will be an opportunity to take a double gain when it comes to your mortgage payment, right? You're going to save some monthly. We can talk about, the 30-year fix and all that, but then you're also going to get that appreciation that's going to spike as a result of those rates coming down. So that's your double hit right there, which is absolutely amazing. Okay. As I mentioned, the rate buy downs, those are very, you can definitely get into some of that right now with the lack of competition. Sellers are willing to wheel and deal because they're getting scared, because they're seeing all the news that inventory's up and it's the highest it's been since 2012, blah, blah, blah. And here we are, right? So the higher interest rates, there are solutions to this, especially in a market that is not buzzing hot, crazy. And so as we move forward, we just need to take, okay, what's the potential risk and consideration? The only potential risk you have in purchasing a home that you're going to take care of, especially in Denver, is that you could lose some value, right? But the truth is, like, people talk about being upside down and all this thing. It's not a great feeling, but as long as you can make that payment, just keep making it, because it doesn't matter, right? You can spend $100,000 of equity just as much as you can spend negative $15,000 in equity. It's not liquid, it's not real money, so it's there. I understand the perception, I get it, but hold on, right? Hold on to that home, continue making that payment that you were comfortable with, that everything went well, and wait it out, right? The only way you lose in real estate is if you sell at the bottom. And so that's that. And I'm not to say there's going to be a major bottom. I did the math. I showed you on here what that looks like. So make sure that that's that. But at the end of the day, if you're asking yourself, Jeremy, I'm still not there, book a call with me. Let's have a conversation. And I will legitimately tell you if now is not a great time to purchase a home. I make that promise to you. I want you to be comfortable where you're at, and that's what we're going to do. So as always, like, comment, subscribe. Look forward to talking to you. Book a call in the link below, and let's have a conversation, and let's make a plan to get you into the market. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but let's make it sometime, because I can't wait to watch you build wealth through real estate as I have done. So we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.